prayer, and then raises the incense. Tonight, we are going to speak about the next step. What happened after that? The deacon comes and presents the vestments to the priest. The vestments to the priest. So while the priest is praying, imagine that I'm toward the east. I'm looking to the west now, but in order for you to understand. So the deacon will present the vestments to the priest in order for him to pray on it before he places the vestments on the bride and the groom. And as you notice, those vestments are two: one for the groom, and this is exactly the priestly cloak, the priestly vestment, the priestly burnus. البرنس بتاع أبونا. This is exactly it. This is for the groom, and then this is for the bride. Why those vestments? Aren't they have their suits and their dress very white and black, and it looks nice with the bow tie and everything? Why do we have to cover them with this? Listen to the prayer that Abuna is praying on the vestments before putting or placing the vestments on the bride and groom. O righteous and lover of mankind, we ask you. Now the priest is talking to God. We ask you to bless these vestments so that they may become for your two servants, the bride and groom, who are wearing them through your goodness, vestments of glory and salvation. And then the deacons will chant Amen, and then another time, vestments of, and so on, vestments of glory and salvation, vestments of purity and salvation, and so on. Those vestments, as we said, this is Abuna's, that he wears in the festal or the glorious or the joyous days, al-ayad. So the groom will wear what Abuna is wearing. So Abuna is announcing now that this man, this groom, become the priest of his house, the priest of his kingdom. And also, she will become the queen of the house, the queen of her kingdom. Why we do that? You notice in the Old Testament that the male, the husband, the father is the one who offers the sacrifices on behalf of his family. So as if he is the priest for this particular family. So now we announce that the groom will be the priest, offering what? Offering the sacrifices of prayers. Means he will lead his family in prayers. Very important notice for all of us is the fathers. Does the father or the fathers in the houses lead the prayers? They're supposed to. And the queen, she has a task. Lead her family in righteousness. Teach her children how to be good. Teach her children what they're supposed to do in the house, what they're supposed to do in the church, what they're supposed to do in life. Unfortunately, we can't find this picture now. The father is always working, and the mother doesn't take care of the children, to the point that we see what we see now. Abuna has to stop the prayer in order for the children to come down. Why? Because they didn't get used to calm down, to be listening from the beginning. Everything that the church does for us from the day one of our baptism until the last day of our lives, the church tries hard to teach us how to walk in this life, what to do in this life. But unfortunately, we take it slightly. We take it without care. Abuna is praying. The deacons are chanting. I don't know what they're doing. They are teaching you what to do. The church is doing everything for you to learn what you shall do. By the way, a quick note for you, and I hope Abuna Murus and Abuna Bra'am will agree with me, that there is another tradition that we little bit lost in here, that these are not only the vestments that the priest will place on the groom and the bride. There is also what they call al-wishah, or in English it is the ribbon. You notice that in the army back then, in the Roman Empire, and after that, and even during the king's reign over Egypt, that every soldier has to have a red ribbon. Red ribbon. Those two red ribbons for the bride and the groom, Abuna is supposed to place them with the vestments. They're supposed to place those ribbons on the side of the bride and the groom, and then place the vestments over. Why those red ribbons? To signify that you and her become soldiers of Christ. Soldiers of Christ. Not to kill and not to fight, but as St. Paul was saying, that I fought the good fight against sin, against the body, against the world. I have to be a soldier for Christ. And since I choose to have my own kingdom, me and my wife and my children, so this small kingdom should be for Christ. My house will worship the only one God. So I become a soldier. My wife, the groom, the bride, will become a soldier in or for Christ, or in the army of Christ. So now we took an idea about the rings, what Abuna was doing with them, tying them, and Abuna then prayed on the vestments and the ribbons, if they are there, the red ribbons. And now there is another step will happen. Abuna will place all of this, the rings, the vestments, and the ribbons, on the bride and the groom. Next time, we're going to speak about why and how and what is after that. And glory be to God.